Okay, so I think I got it figured out. For some reason, I always use Safari, not Safari, but Mozilla Firefox, and for some reason it didn't work. So whenever I got on Google Chrome, it started working for my 6th grade class. So we're going to try it again. Okay, so I'm going to try and just do some of these and upload it for your help because this is a really good review. Okay, so when we say x squared times x squared, since that's what most of you are familiar with and like better, we'd have x to the 4th. Okay, and then go ahead and do it with all of them. So 3x times x squared is going to be a plus 3x to the 3rd. Okay. And then x squared minus 1 times minus 1 is going to be negative x squared. And then we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Now we're going to negative 3. So since we start with negative 3x squared, I'm going to go ahead and just write it over here because I'm going to add like terms here in a second. And then negative 3 times a positive 3x. X. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a 3. Okay, so when I combine like terms, I end up with x to the 4th plus 3x cubed. Eventually, or that's a horrible 3. Minus 4x cubed. I mean squared, I'm sorry. So you can always remember there's a 1 here and there's a 1 above every variable. Okay. That should be a 1 as well there. Okay. Minus 9x plus 3. That's your answer for number 1. Okay. Now with this, we're not multiplying, we're just negating all those terms and combining like terms. Okay. So this becomes negative x squared minus 2x plus 5. And now we just combine those with the first parentheses. So here we would have 4x squared, combine our x's, and we have negative 5x. And here we would have minus 2. Always circle your answers for me to let me know which one you're wanting me to look at. Okay, this is, we have x cubed minus 8 divided by x minus 2. So that tells me that I know that x minus 2 is one factor of x to the 3rd minus 8. We know it's a factor now because we're not working with remainders or anything. So now all we have to do is do division. Okay? Remember I said to just go ahead to make it easy and plug in our 0. Maybe do that. Do that. Here. Okay. X minus 2 x cubed plus 0 x squared plus 0 x minus 8. Okay. So how do I get x become x squared or x cubed? Well, I know I'm going to have x squared. So that becomes x cubed, and this becomes negative 2x squared. Negate those, that cancels. Leaves me with 2x squared. Now, I don't have to bring this down because it is nothing. I can go ahead and just bring -8. So how do I get x to become 2x squared? Can I? Well, I would have to say plus 2x. That would give me 2x squared. Then I would have negative 4x. Okay. I'll try to cut a shortcut here. Now to cancel, that's going to be 4x. So I'm going to be left with 4x minus 8. And that's going to be a positive 4. So that'll be 4x minus 8. And when I negate those, all of that cancels. There's the answer. Okay, so now we have 3 binomials that we're going to multiply together. Sure. Okay, so if we do just the first two, we have x squared. Combine the two middle ones, that will leave us with negative x minus 2 for our last two terms. Now, all we have to do is multiply by x plus 3. Okay, do distributive property. So we're going to multiply x squared times x, and that leaves us with x cubed. X squared times 3 is a positive 3x squared. Negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times 3 is negative 3x. Negative 2 times x, negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Okay, now combine like terms. X cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. And there is your first page. Okay. Page 2. We have, now we have 3 binomials here, but these are not multiplied together. All you have to do is combine like terms. So you're going to negate all the terms in the second binomial. And you're going to negate all the ones in the third binomial. Now just combine like terms. So this x, that x cancels, leaves us with negative x. 2 plus 1 is 3, negative 3 is 0. So we're just left with a negative x. Number 6, we have a binomial times a trinomial. So we're going to do distributive property. And we're going to end up with 2x cubed minus 5x cubed, or squared, I'm sorry, plus 7x. Now distribute the 2. That leaves us with 4x squared minus 10x plus 14. Combine like terms. That leaves us with 2x cubed minus x squared minus 3x plus 14. All right, now we have a polynomial divided by a binomial. And remember, the denominator of a fraction is just one of the factors of the polynomial. So we're going to divide that out to find out what the other factor is. X cubed minus 2x squared minus 65x. Okay, how do we make x become x cubed? Well, we need an x squared. So that's x cubed minus 18 squared. Those cancel when we negate those. And we get with a negative 16x squared minus 65x. We get a negative 16x. That becomes negative 16x squared. 16 times 9, don't know. 16 times 9. 144. 144 minus 65. X plus 18. How do we end up with 79? Forget all of that. I knew I was doing something wrong. Hold up, let's go back to right here. Okay. That was x cubed, but it's simply negative x squared. Okay, so now when we do this, when we negate these, those still cancel. This leaves us with x squared minus 65. Let's this up here. Okay, so now then how do we get x to be x squared? Well, we positive x is x squared minus 9. We have to negate those. That leaves us with a negative 6, 18. I'm still questioning myself whether this is going to be right. For some reason, I don't feel like this is right. X negative 9. So I'm going to have to come up with a 56. I don't like that. Let me erase this. All right, guys, I'm going to know where I'm messing up here. Start back over. Actually, this should be negative 3, negative x squared. So negative 3x squared minus 65. So let's do no. That's fine. That's everything up. Hopefully you guys are checking all this out before I'm even getting here and all are yelling at the screen right now saying, no, Mr. Anderson, that's wrong. That's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. It's all the way back over here. All right, I have x squared. Let's start with x squared. Let's do it right this time. This would be x cubed minus 9x. Oh. So we got to negate those. Negative. Now it's just going to be positive 7x squared minus 65. Now I like those numbers better. Okay, so I need to get 7x squared, so I need to go with positive 7. That's a positive 7x squared. That's a negative 63. That's an x2. So negate those, that's going to cancel. Add that in with the 2, negative 2x. Bring down my 18. Yes, this is much better now. Okay, now minus 2, negative 2x, 18. I have to negate those. So then that becomes negative and cancels everything out. Sorry. Told y'all I will mess this up a bunch, so y'all have to watch me. All right. Now, these two trinomials, we're just going to negate the second. So negative 2 plus x minus 2x squared. Combine like terms, x squared negative 2x squared is just leaving with x squared. My x here and x here leaves me with negative 2x. And then those should cancel everything out. Leaves you with negative x squared minus 2x. Oh, negative x squared? Yeah, negative x squared. Yeah, negative x squared. All right, page 3. This trinomial, you have to multiply out. Or for this one, I'm just going to do our tabular model. So we'll let x squared minus 3x 2. And then x squared x and okay. So 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the 4th. Negative x times x squared is a negative x cubed. And this is 2x squared. Negative 3 times 2x squared is negative 6x cubed. This would be a positive 3x squared with negative 6x. X 4. I'm going to write the answer all the way over here in the corner. So that's going to be 2x to the 4th when I combine like terms for my x cubed. I'm going to put a negative 7x cubed. When I combine like terms for x squared, that's a positive 9x should leave with a negative 8x and 4 plus 4. So there's that answer. All right, let's do x minus 3. Maybe I can fit it in here to the third. Minus x squared minus 5x minus 3. Okay. How do I get x to become x cubed? I have to have x squared. That's x cubed minus 3x x squared. I have to negate those. So this becomes x squared minus 5x. That would have to be plus x. So that would be x squared minus 3x. And when I negate those, that becomes 2x minus 3. And so I don't like that because that's going to give me a remainder. Let's see where I messed up on this one. So this one might be wrong in the home or in the textbook. Because this should be a +1, but that does not add up. If I said +1, do I need 2x here? That's where I messed up again. Okay. I'm not on the ball today, guys. Sorry, I gotta go back here. This should be positive 2x squared minus 5x, which would leave us with 2x, and that will give me 2x squared plus 6x. That leaves me with x minus 3, which this 1 gives us x minus 3 and cancels everything out. And I knew that because I knew the -3 here had to leave me with a 1 here for it to work out right. That's the reason why when I got to that, I knew it should have been a 1, but I had messed up somewhere else. So there we go. There's the answer to this one. Okay. Here we go again with a trinomial times a trinomial. Minus 12. Okay, so this is going to be x to the 4th. You should be able to look and know that, just like you should know this down here should be a -12. All these other ones in between that we got to figure out. Let's just go -9x cubed x squared 7x negative 63x squared 7x negative 12 squared. Yeah, probably 108x. I think is this one I already did? Yeah, I think I've done this one for you on the board. So let me write this one over here. You're gonna have x to the 4th 2x cubed minus 115x squared. Sorry guys, that should be a squared there. Okay. And then x is going to be 100. No, that was my x. That is not correct. My x is negative 74 is negative 74x squared. And then we have a positive 115x minus 12. There's that one. All right, and this one for number 12, we're just combining like terms. And since it's not negated, all we do is add. So that's simply going to be 3x cubed minus 5x squared minus x minus 14. Just combining like terms there. All right, let's look at 13, 14, 15. All right, 13. Okay, I would rather do tabular model because I feel like it's neater, but I'll do this one along the distributive way. So x cubed times x squared is going to be x to the 5th. That's awesome. Okay, minus 4x to the 4th. We're adding exponents, also multiplying here. Okay. Let's start out when that's done with our x cubed. So let's go negative 8. Oh, I don't want to really run it there because we're not going to be combining all the time. Oh, this will combine all the time. It's just rounding it out here. Bring this on down here. It's going to be negative 8x squared minus 30. So that's your answer for that one. Because there's no like terms. It worked out pretty well. Okay. 14, you should know that your answer is going to have the first term should be x squared and the last term should be 3. You should already know that. Well, since I know it's going to be plus, it should be about right here, all the way over there. Okay. So let's go ahead and I'll do the reverse tabular method down here for y'all. Okay. x2. Okay. I know this is going to be x to the 3rd. I know this is going to be 6. Okay, so that should work. Okay, so how do I get x to be x, I know it's going to be x squared, x cubed. I mean, how does x become x cubed? It's going to be x squared. It'll be 2x squared. I know this has got to be my 3 to make my 3, 2, and 6. So this would be 3 to the 6, or 3x. Now I need negative 2x squared. So I'm actually going to have to go with a negative 4x squared to get this to combine to be negative 2x. So how do I get negative 4x squared from x? I would have to have negative 4x. Get negative 4x squared, which is going to leave me with a negative 8x. And that is my answer. Because this combines to be negative 5x. This doesn't combine with anything because it's already there. So negative 4x that is my answer. Okay. Once again, just combining our terms. Notice this is not a standard form. Don't let that trick you. Negative x cubed and x cubed cancels. There's no x squared in this polynomial, so we write that down. Negative 3x and negative x will be negative 4x. 3. Like that. I think I'm just going to tell you what you should do here. So first of all, you would start out multiplying these. Then, so that's going to be, I think I'm going to do this quickly, negative 2x squared, 14x minus 3x. So it should be 11x plus 11x minus 21 minus, okay, minus 21 minus, we have to negate all of these, plus x is going to negate it, plus 2. And combine like terms, so we have a negative x cubed, 2x plus 2x is going to be 4 plus 4 squared, negative x plus 11x is going to be x, negative 19 over, and then we still have all that divided by x minus 2. I'm just checking to make sure. Okay, I think we're good so far. And then you would just divide those. Okay, should be fine with that. And I think I said the answer would be x squared plus 11x minus 22. So that should work out correctly. All right, let's look at page 7. Now this is where we were just writing what's going to be the first and last. Is it first and last? Okay. So the first one, we got to look at these x cubes. So that's going to be negative 4x cubed. That's the first term. The last term is these regular numbers. Negative to it. We don't have to negate them because this is just adding them together there. Okay. This one I know is going to be 2x cubed. Okay. And the last time I would just multiply all these together. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9 times negative 1 is positive 9. So there's the first and the last term. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult because we're going to have multiple steps. But I do know that this is going to be my highest. This will be my highest term. I'll have a negative 2x cubed because these are just going to be squared. So that's not going to be my first term in my standard polynomial. Okay. The last term is a little bit more tricky. So we have to look at these two. That's going to be a negative 15. And we would negate this 3. That becomes negative 3. So the last term would be a negative 18. Okay. Same thing for this one. This one's going to be a negative x times a negative x. So that's going to be a negative x squared. So we don't like that. Okay, so we're going to have to actually do both of these. Okay, so this will be 3x squared. This is going to be negative x squared. So my first term is going to be this positive 2x squared when I combine these two terms. Now this last term is going to be 16 right here. And this will be a negative 5 here. So that should be a, when I negate this because of this term here, it's going to leave me with a negative 21 for my last term. Remember, these are just the first and the last terms, okay? Let's see what else we had here. Okay, we did, I think the majority of these. We said this was going to be n to the 10th, so we'll multiply all of these first terms together. And then this would be, the last term would be 10 factorial, which means 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 4, all the way down to this one here. Okay. Now 22b, these are easy. And we know if we put these all out here, that's going to be an x to the 10th and a negative 2 to the 10th. I said you could just leave it like that. Last term. Okay, I told y'all. Let's see. Okay, so these two terms actually end up being one right here. So you have x to the 10 and then you have 2. That's all we're caring about. And I told y'all this means negating the exponent. So this is actually x to the negative 1 when we divide that. So that's going to be x to the 9 and negative 2 to the 9. When you would do that, well, it wouldn't matter since the exponent is negative here. Up here, this would matter. So you want to make sure you know where your negative is going with. Okay. Now let's look at this one. The easiest thing for D is probably going to be to, this is going to be n squared times 2n So that's going to leave you with 2. And since this is going to be 1n, your 1 is just going to be your last term. So we don't even care about the rest of it. Now you're going to divide both of those by 6. Well, I can say 1 over 3. That'll reduce down to 1 over 3 n to the third. And then the last term is just 1 over 6. That wouldn't be a 1 either. Because I'm going to have 1n times 1. That's just going to be a plus n, 1n, actually. So we would just have n over 6. How about that? So this would be 1n when you multiply these two together. So then when you multiply it by 1, you get terms 1n. So it's just 1n. So the last term over here would be 1n divided by 6. It's just 1, you could say 1n over 6. That's fine. Or just n over 6. All right, let's see here. Okay, so that has all of those out there. I think that should hopefully help out with some of it. Once again, if you can send me an email on some of the questions that you're having, I can try and get some videos done for y'all. All right, y'all have a good evening.